Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel BNB Daily Spoiler. Ridge's feeling for Taylor is still banned after everything.
Is Ridge still attracted to Taylor? Something is clearly wrong here, based on spoilers for the bold and the beautiful. Continue reading below for all the information you need. Even though Ridge Forrester has moved on and chosen to be with Brooke Logan, he still seems to be very interested in the romantic life of his ex-wife Taylor Hayes. Is Ridge still attracted to Taylor? As many fans of the bold and the beautiful know, Taylor has been having an affair with Deacon Sharp, who is also married to Sheila Carter. Sheila should be the one upset about the whole situation, but for some reason, Ridge has decided to get involved in all of the drama. Because of this, a lot of people are wondering why and if he still feels the same way about her. If there's one thing we've learned about Ridge Forrester over the years, it's that he's the kind of guy who always looks for what he lacks. Therefore, after seeing Taylor with Deacon, Ridge might have grown jealous or found a reason to get involved in a situation that has no bearing on him. What is the real situation with Ridge Forrester? After all, this wouldn't be a soap opera if there weren't any delicate matters of the heart, would it? Ridge appears to be acting more selfishly than sentimentally, but that's just where we are right now. Brooke Logan will surely question why her husband has suddenly become so emotionally involved in his ex-wife's romantic life, if all of that wasn't enough. We suspect that this situation will rapidly spiral out of control. To find out what happens next, BNB fans will simply need to pay attention. Watch this space, because we believe there is much more to come. The Bold and the Beautiful airs on the CBS network during the week. Check your local listings for the times. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers. When Ridge gets involved in Taylor's romantic life, Deacon loses control. While Taylor is busy going through old notes from a previous therapy session, Deacon shows up out of the blue in a charming, even pleading manner. Deacon sees an opportunity and leans in to remind Taylor of the good old days when they supported one another through tough times. Taylor, torn, flinches at the tension but maintains his composure. Ridge is frozen in place in the doorway. The emotional foundation of the love triangle is made up of Deacon's unpredictable charm, Taylor's desire for stability with Deacon, and Ridge's protective inclinations. Steffi and Finn later notice Taylor's distracted behavior at Forrester Creations, which is the first sign that she might be deviating from her family's priorities. She's slipping, Steffi warns Ridge. Someone else will take your place if you don't step in. It becomes evident that Ridge is caught between wanting Taylor to be happy and wanting her safe. As the episode draws to a close, Deacon writes, "I'm here if you ever need me," on Taylor's counter. You know that. Ridge's jaw tightens as he first notices it. Deacon establishes boundaries. Ridge takes over. Ridge confronts Taylor in private and asks her to explain her feelings. Ridge continues, "Watching you get sucked into things that hurt you is unbearable." Taylor tries to convince Ridge that she can handle Deacon's visits, but he doesn't believe her. Meanwhile, Deacon continues his clandestine attempt to reintegrate into Taylor's life. To spend more time with Taylor, he begins going to Forrester events, offering to help with minor emergencies, and tactfully influencing events with charm and persuasion. Hope notices the tension building and cautions Taylor that Deacon may be more dangerous than he appears. Taylor, who is devoted but torn, defends Deacon by claiming that he has changed. The episode culminates when Ridge discovers Deacon sitting outside Taylor's vehicle in the late-night Forrester parking lot. Ridge becomes irritable. A potentially violent future confrontation is hinted at by the brief but intense altercation. Taylor between two worlds. The complexity of Taylor's life increases. Deacon represents a dangerous, passionate past she will never completely forget, while Ridge represents safety, family, and her professional identity. Deacon becomes more impulsive when he thinks Ridge is meddling. He tries to impress Taylor at a private lunch, but when Ridge unexpectedly shows up, Deacon loses his temper. He charges Ridge with being crafty, controlling, and trying to steal Taylor's happiness. Taylor intervenes in an effort to ease the mounting tension. When Ridge says, "If you continue this back and forth, I don't know how much longer I can protect you or the family," he challenges her assertiveness. She demands that both men show consideration for her personal space. At the end of the episode, Deacon mutters to himself, and storms off, hinting at his loss of control. Disturbed, Taylor wonders if she has been tricked herself. The deacon's impulses spiral. Deacon's behavior deteriorates significantly. He begins to show up at Taylor's house without permission, send multiple late-night texts, and subtly make fun of Ridge in front of the family. Taylor begins to feel stuck because, despite her love and concern for Deacon, she is growing weary of the load. Ridge, however, makes an effort to be tactful. He requests a private meeting with Deacon at Forster Creations. The goal is a truce, or at least an agreement to respect boundaries. The meeting devolves into an accusatory exchange when Deacon fails to alter his inappropriate behavior. Taylor, who is in the delicate position of wanting both men in her life but is terrified of the repercussions for her children and the Forster heritage, observes this developing conflict from the sidelines. The scene is set for a furious confrontation as the episode ends when Deacon decides on the spur of the moment to drive to Il Giardino with the goal of surreptitiously cornering Taylor. Ridge's request. Ridge issues a clear warning to Taylor. If she continues to have unsupervised contact with Deacon, he will take legal action to protect her and the family. Since this is the first instance in which Ridge's protective inclinations have become a significant legal risk, Taylor is more impacted by the decision than ever before. Deacon, however, makes snap judgments. As he corners Taylor at Il Giardino, he pleads that Ridge is not aware of their relationship. Taylor loses it as the argument heats up and accuses Deacon of putting her family and her mental health in jeopardy. The repercussions are immediate. Deacon storms out, slamming the door. Ridge shows up to assist Taylor after hearing the commotion. Taylor finds himself in the middle of Ridge and Deacon's now public and hazardous argument. Taylor attempts to maintain harmony, but chaos breaks out. In an effort to close the distance between the two worlds, Taylor arranges a controlled meeting with Deacon at an impartial location. She demands clear boundaries and wants to mediate the conflict. Deacon agrees, but it's obvious that he's annoyed because he feels constrained and misinterpreted. Ridge expresses frustration with Taylor's attempt to balance the two and expresses concern that Taylor may be promoting Deacon's impulsive actions. "I can't protect you if you keep opening the door," warns Ridge. Deacon further manipulates the situation by calling people they have in common, while implying that Ridge is unfair and controlling. Deacon is seen waiting for a chance to speak with Taylor alone outside her home at night as the episode draws to a close. When Taylor watches but decides not to open the door, it creates an exciting cliffhanger. A captivating battle. The Deacon's despair grows. When he gets to Forster Creations, he tries to corner Ridge and Taylor in the boardroom. Words are exchanged. Accusations, threats, and raw passion rule the conversation. Ridge loses patience. Taylor, who strikes a balance, makes a powerful statement in which she declares her independence while acknowledging the roles that both men have played in her life. Her scathing remarks cause Deacon to lose his composure because they trigger his volatile emotions. He storms off, muttering under his breath and making it plain that he will not be ignored. The board begins to question whether Taylor's personal life is interfering with her work responsibilities after witnessing some of the chaos. This heightens the suspense and sets the stage for personal drama to clash with business consequences. The Deacon's decline in power. Deacon begins acting recklessly. He approaches former allies, manipulates minor Forster stakeholders, and threatens to reveal personal information in an attempt to get Taylor's attention. Now forced to seek legal advice, Ridge warns Taylor that Deacon's behavior could become a public scandal. Taylor, torn, tries to comfort Deacon, but he refuses to listen. He disrupts a charity event where Taylor is speaking, causing a disturbance. Taylor is embarrassed by the altercation's embarrassing public nature, while Ridge is incensed. The tension reached its peak when Ridge had to intervene physically to prevent Deacon from following Taylor into a restricted area during the event. The situation is explosive. Security steps in, Ridge shields Taylor, and Deacon responds violently. Taylor is emotionally spent as the celebration draws to a close, and Deacon is dragged out in a fit of wrath. The family disagreement. The Forster family gathers to address the escalating circumstances. According to Ridge, Taylor must choose between allowing Deacon total authority over her life and prioritizing her family's stability. Steffi, Hope, and Finn express concerns regarding the children, the company, and Taylor's mental health. Hurt but determined, Taylor admits that the family is at risk because of Deacon's impetuous actions. She must make the difficult decision to cut ties with Deacon in order to prioritize Forrester's and the grandchildren's stability. Deacon reacts with anger and sadness. He confronts Taylor once more and begs for love to be unconditional. Taylor responds firmly and sets boundaries. Deacon foreshadows his future struggles as he attempts to regain control on his own as he leaves. Resolution and cliffhanger. There's a brief period of stability at the end of the arc. Although Taylor is still a loving grandmother, she has promised to set boundaries with Deacon. Ridge is relieved, but he remains wary because he knows Deacon is explosive and might attempt to reintegrate into Taylor's life. The final image is a dramatic visual tease. Taylor at home, looking out a window, reflecting on what she has given up. Deacon in his car, watching from a distance, gripping the steering wheel with barely contained rage. The last thing Deacon said to himself was, "This isn't over, Taylor." Not at all. Although Ridge has won the battle for dominance, the cliffhanger suggests that Taylor's affection and influence are still up for grabs, hinting at future conflicts. Themes and character arcs. Ridge Forrester becomes an enforcer instead of a guardian. The struggle between duty and love is emphasized in Ridge's plot. His passion grows as he finds a balance between defending his family, upholding the reputation of his business, and being terrified of losing Taylor to Deacon's impulsive charms. Taylor Hayes is a morally torn person who has to decide between duty and passion. Her plot centers on self-reliance, difficult choices, and the emotional cost of love when obligations to one's family and one's job clash. Deacon Sharp, the catalyst for chaos. Deacon's impetuosity, charisma, and disregard for boundaries heighten the drama, which finally results in a momentary loss of control and the realization that his past actions have consequences. Supporting cast. In addition to acting as moral mentors and legal counsel, Steffi, Hope, Finn, and the board members act as realistic checks on Taylor and Deacon's reckless actions. Their perspectives highlight the ethical and generational disparities in managing complex personal and familial relationships. The complexity of blended families, the tension between familial duty and emotional desire, love versus duty, and impulsive versus rational behavior are the overarching themes.